It's up and running. Oh, uh, one thing I was looking for and couldn't find was an awful lot of information about the token. Do you know who a member of the DRC called Matthew was?
I'm having a really hard time understanding you, Larry. Your voice is muted compared to the interference that's coming through. You may need to hang up and try reconnecting.
Well, okay, I'll go ahead and shut down Skype. Yeah, I'll need to shut down Skype. I'll shut down Skype and try reconnecting. Back. Can you hear me any better?
You're choppy. It's coming. You're clipping. It's coming in and out. Your voice is when you talk.
That's strange. How about now? Just reselecting my mic.
There's still that background noise.
Let me go ahead and try turning and see if that's tones again.
Yeah, it's your voice is still unintelligible.
Okay, that's the fan off, so does that help?
Your voice is louder now, but it's still clipping, and there's still the background noise.
Let's see, my speakers are off, so you can't be picking up my desktop audio. I'm mystified because I don't know of anything that could be causing this.
So you may need to hang up, shut down Skype, and restart it again.
That's what I did.
Oh, because it showed that you were still on the call.
Well, the call was still active. You and
Yeah, but your icon was still on the call. It didn't change to just me and Murphac.
In that case, let me go ahead and hang on. Okay, did that make any difference?
Okay, so that background thumping is back.
something going on that could be.
It's like something's hitting the microphone in a rapid fire. And you're twisting a clown balloon at the same time.
Okay. Oh, something weird's going on with my.
I unplugged my headphones from the phone, and it was still coming through the phone speakers. So it's not my headphones that's causing it.
Okay, I just tried switching to a different microphone.
I heard you saying you just switched to something, but you got walked on by that background noise.
Okay, can you hear right now?
Your voice is coming through clearer, but it's still that background electronic noise is still occurring.
Then I haven't the faintest idea what that could be, because I was watching my desktop microphone readout, and with my normal microphone, it was going absolutely nuts, and I have no idea why. The only noise that I have in the room right now is my computer running, and that's very quiet.
The noise isn't coming from the room. It's not ambient sound. It's electronic noise. It's a noise in the broadcast.
Microphone. You can see what it is. Yeah, it's going absolutely nuts, and I have no idea what could be causing that.
Anyways, hello Murphac, and I hope you're doing well today.
Broken strings on a shit guitar. Discount Jones and CCTV. So many ways to help you see. Who's looking at you, looking at me? It's cash. Carry it.
Okay.
right, Larry, the noise is coming through your Twitch feed as well.
Yeah, I'm hearing something almost like somebody else talking in the background, but I have no idea where it's coming from. It's not like I'm doing anything differently than I always do, so I have so this is Myst phone.
Maybe if you try rotating the mic jack like quarter turn increments and see if that goes or helps. Okay, so that's not going to help. Murphat has his microphone off, so it's not him. Is there a crack in the microphone cord? Huh? I think he's cell phone, but
You just have to move it away.
out of curiosity, Larry, do you have your cell phone next to your microphone?
No, it's on standby anyway.
Top and then I'm home. My sun never shines. I'm one of a kind.
Okay, what I just did was changed over to a different microphone.
I'm still
So-
doing it on Skype.
Yeah, hang on just a minute. I'm going to try changing Skype over to a different, to the other mic.
Are you,
Okay,
there
How
you
to-
go.
yeah. I switched both of my microphones over to my camera mic instead of my desktop mic. So I haven't the faintest freaking idea as what's going on there.
Well, you are clear now, Crystal.
Okay, then I'll just run it this way for the rest of the tour. Oh, by the way, what I was trying to ask you earlier on, do you know of a DRC personality called Matthew?
The DRC personality who?
Named Matthew.
I recall the name. I don't recall offhand what his duties were or what he was involved with.
Well, he was apparently the head of their translators. There's a note to him from Dr. Watson on Tokyo Rooftop. And I was trying
Right.
to figure out, match up his name.
Oh, let me see here. I'll probably have it here someplace.
Say, I've seen a list of DRC personnel, and there's an M. Cowart and an M. Kern, so I thought it might be one of those two.
I want to get the music you're hearing in the background from me. My wife is watching some Kifness videos.
Oh, okay. I was wondering what I did hear noise on your end, so I was wondering what that was.
It's a guy that takes cat meows and turns them into songs.
Oh, okay. Ten minutes to go, and we don't have Susan yet.
His heart's been broken once or twice before. Just a man walking out the door. 'Cause I can't be here, that's for sure. Save me, Lord.
You know, I put that data down here someplace.
Sure, gentlemen.
Hey,
Hello.
Susan.
Hello. I'm logging in.
Sounds more like you're already logged in.
I'm logging into Moolah.
Ah, gotcha.
Remember Moolah?
Okay.
Dadgum. Oh, I know what I did with that. Okay. It's my restoration notes. Think.
You missed all the drama, Susan.
Oh no.
When I started the broadcast, we had something really weird going on with my audio.
Oh.
Saying that I had to actually switch over from my normal microphone to an alternate in order to get this thing to resolve it for now.
Oh no.
Yeah. So what you're hearing me through is my camera.
Oh my gosh. Oh wow.
So I,
That's dedication.
so I have absolutely no idea how this sounds.
It's a little bit echoey, but I can hear you clearly.
Okay. It'll
Have
do.
you asked that our tourists if they can hear you? Well, you've
Yeah.
still got your music going.
Now the cat. They were talking about it in the chat earlier.
No, I don't have his name in there,
Okay.
Larry.
Yeah.
I just have the main DRC members.
Right. I'm gonna be. There's not an awful lot of to talk about on the Toka rooftop that I can think of. So I'm one of the things I was planning on doing is discussing all of the known translators.
Ah, okay.
And we have this guy named Michael, or Matthew, excuse me, not Michael, who is supposed to be the head of the department, and I don't know one thing about him, including his last name.
Head of whose department?
The DRC's translation department.
Oh,
Hello.
hi,
Can you hear
Zeke.
me?
Yes.
Hey, Zeke.
I gotta get my Twitch up.
I gotta get coffee.
I used to have those little coffee things I would buy at World Market near my house, and I would pour some coffee and have that at night when we were doing the late night tours.
Oh, wow.
Actually, that was last Saturday, Rob, that I lost my internet connection. So the cat. So been there, done that.
For a computer technician, you sure do have a lot of computer issues.
Hey, I can't get. No, it doesn't matter how good or not I am as a computer technician if the internet company crashes.
That's correct. It's a conspiracy.
No, they completely lost everything last Saturday. Their entire main trunk line or something went down. So it went out overnight, and excuse me, I think it went out the previous night, and then they didn't get it fixed until 2:30 on Saturday. And then on Sunday, their DNS server decided that it wasn't going to cooperate anymore, which meant that even though I was connecting on Sunday, I was getting nothing going in or out. So, and we didn't figure that one out and get it resolved until fairly late on Monday afternoon. So I was both at my work and at my home. I had no internet.
Right.
As a computer repair tech, not having internet connection at work was inconvenient.
Right.
Both inconvenient, and it also kept me from recording any UPS packages I got in.
That's our major connection to the world, is the internet.
Well, both sides of my office, basically, or both functions of my office are dependent on it.
You know what a computer's technician's most valuable tool is? A hammer.
I was just going to say that.
I thought you were gonna say screwdriver.
That's the second one.
Actually, Zeke is more accurate, to be quite frank. But that's not to say I don't have I do not have hammers and mallets in my office.
I hope his answer's more accurate. But mine's funnier.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
I just think of a bunch of puns using that, so be careful.
Let's see. Oh. May as well kill the music now.
Just let me know if you want me to get started or if you want to get started, Susan.
We have a few minutes, right? I'm
Yeah.
talking.
It's
I'm creaming my
11.
putting cream in my coffee.
It's 11:57 right now, so I'm just going to kill the music since there's no point in having that going.
But
now.
Zeke, you can get started.
Okay, well, let me wait. I like to wait for laggers, basically. A couple minutes, and then
3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
I
8,
will
9,
do that.
10, 11, 12, 13. We have 14 people in the cavern and 13 logged on to my the broadcast. How does that work?
I'm checking my buddies list to see who's not here. Robot's where he should be. Thank you, Murphy. Yeah, everybody on my buddies list is here. That's why I have a different avatar designed solely for the Cavern tour, so I could buddy tourists.
Yeah. I actually have another avatar slot where I could play the whole game again if I wanted to.
I need to do that sometime. Just roll a new avatar.
Well, I actually played on the Makata shard a little bit, kind of just
Minkata?
testing. Minkata shard.
Minkata.
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 Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Shard, and I messed with the class, and just noticed a few bugs in there, but that was fun because I did the Atrus one, so instead of doing the normal repo. But I would say the new intro to that Relto is pretty good. It's a lot better than the previous one. That's all I'll say about that. Trying to be as spoiler free here as possible.
Thank you.
Yeah. I guess I will go ahead and get started then. I want to thank everyone for coming to the Cavern tours. Today we will be exploring, we'll be exploring a different part of the age we've been discovering the history of. We'll be linking there soon, but a few rules in mind. We will try to be as spoiler free as possible, but know that we might go to have to do spoilers in order to do some of these tours. Second, if you don't have Mirrorbot in your buddy list, it is recommended that you link Mirrorbot, make Mirrorbot your buddy, since we will be using him. And it's thanks to Mirfact for being able to do these tours. The second thing is do not walk on ladders, do not move, and try to stay with the group, because we have a function where we can warp people to different locations, and it can cause a lot of glitches if you go on ladders and stuff like that. Second, if your noise is too loud in the game, you can go to your audio settings, which is the wrench at the bottom right-hand corner. Go to audio and turn your ambient sound down, sound effects and music down, if the noise is getting to you. Also, be able to have your game in window mode, because we will be switching from the game to twitch.com. So be sure to be able to switch between the two. Let's see. Oh, and if you get lost, you can, if you link out or something, you can go to Mirrorbot and follow Larry to join.
Find Larry.
Find Larry to join back in the group. There will be sections where the tour guides might ask for questions, so you can prepare your questions in those. Now, also keep your questions relevant to the age, because certain questions might not be applicable to that age at this time. And so we want to keep that tour separate when you have questions for that particular age tour. And then if you have any other questions, you can PM me or Susan, or if the tour guides want to ask questions in the middle of, if we're in the middle of doing something, you can ask questions then, and they will do your best to answer. Is there anything I'm missing, Susan or Larry?
Let's
Nope.
see. What?
Just make sure you buddy Mirabot, and
Yeah.
when we're ready to travel, just PM a W to him.
Yeah, you can do when you're
Or the word
if you
link.
get disconnected, or if your game crashes,
Yeah.
and when you come back on, just PM to either link or W to Mirabot to rejoin the age, and then of course you can do find Larry to get back to the main group.
Can everyone hear Larry today? He's having to talk through his phone due to mic issues.
No, my camera,
His camera.
my webcam.
Oh, okay.
Anyway. Okay, at this point, we should be able to just go ahead and link to the bot, and we'll be at our first location.
So everyone link to Mirabot.
Today we are rejoining our tour of the eastern side of Ae'gura Island, which we had to... Oh, great. Excuse me a second. My antivirus program decided that it just had to open up in front of my notes. Okay. Anyway, so this is the tour of the eastern side of Ae'gura Island. And we are back on the Tokita rooftop. The rooftop of Tokita 2 is a DRC work area that was never intended for explorer access. Instead, for some reason, Yisha placed a Baro stone here in Ae'gura. The workplace is where most of Denis' linguists worked, although not all of them. To give you an example, there was one or two who worked in the Great Library here on Ae'gura Island. I don't have a date for when the work area was established, but it might have been in mid-2002 when the DRC moved into Tokita 1 as its main office building. Up here, you will find 8 of the DRC journals about the Denis kings, and 4 notebooks about Denis culture and people that are still here where the authors left them on the tables. Other objects of note are a typewriter, a Mysterium 2000 logo, a cot, many crates, a couple of rugs, several chairs, other DRC equipment such as barricades, cones, etc. And also, seasonally, you will find a menorah up here, which they put up at the same time that they put up the Christmas tree in the Baron's city office. The translation team was led by a man named Matthew, whose last name I do not know. That we know that it was him because it's mentioned in a document here on the rooftop on one of the tables. It was written by Dr. Watson to him and is discussing some of the translations. As of this article, or this, I don't know the man's last name, although a list of DRC personnel mentions an M. Cowart or an M. Kern, so it might have been one of the two. Other translators were Tricia Lawson, who worked as a researcher and translator for the DRC during the second restoration of Denis. She wrote the DRC notebooks on the Denis class system and pregnancy, and translated an introduction pamphlet about Megalon. Another translator was Michael Simpson, who worked for the DRC during the second restoration and wrote the research notebooks about Grayson, the Great Zero, and the Watcher's Sanctuary. He left the Cavern in 2004 when the DRC ran out of funding, and I don't know if he ever came back. Nick White was called a restoration engineer by explorers, but his primary job was being a Denis translator for the DRC, and also he worked with Douglas Sharper, translating documents from Teledon right after he learned Denis in 1998. During year 2000, he also translated some documents from Rebek before being pulled off it. While he was assigned to translate documents for Douglas Sharper, replacing a man named Sam Reynolds, who was too busy assisting Dr. Watson to spare much time for Sharper. The two became friends, and White kept several documents he translated for Sharper secret from the rest of the DRC. During the third restoration, White was known as something of a flirt among the female population of the Cavern and was called a skirt chaser at times. He was known to leak information to explorers and was known to associate with Sidney Austin, the leader of an anti-DRC group. These acts eventually led to him being fired from his position within the DRC. Shortly after his firing, he went with Douglas Sharper to aid in hunting the unknown predator outside of the Megalon pod. He would later return to the Cavern shortly after to help with the search for Willow Ingberg and her friend Rosette. And Sam Reynolds, who I mentioned before, worked for the DRC during the second restoration, but he worked directly for Dr. Watson. He wrote some of the DRC notebooks about the kings, specifically the ones about Reneref, Aelesh, Nagan, and Asimlev. He also started doing translation work to Teledon for Douglas Sharper, but stopped after 2 months because he was too busy with other work. The final one that we know about was Michelle Cunningham, who was a cultural researcher and studied Denis documents and reports based on and wrote her reports based on what she found in them. Her reports about Denis marriage and maturity can be found here on the Vitokota rooftop. Other than that, there's not an awful lot that's actually known. So, did we have any questions?
Not so far.
Okay. Now, one thing I was going to show you, the same map. Let's see. There we go. Should be this one. Okay. So. Oh, that's why I'm not seeing it. Sorry, I had to restart my computer earlier and forgot to bring this all back up. Here we go. Okay, if you want to take a look at the stream window for a moment, you will notice that I have a map up which shows the Tokata courtyard with the tree in the middle of it, and then down along the stairs, you will see, let's see, a spot marked 1, or a building marked number 1. And that's where we are right now, on the roof of that particular part of Tokata 2. Did we have any questions?
I don't see any.
Okay.
I
In that
did
case,
in chat. I did type the instructions in the future to visit the public rooftop.
Yeah.
But I told him not to do it now. We don't want to
Okay.
lose people.
Actually, speaking of the rugs covering holes, one of the things that we've never been able to find on this rooftop is how the DRC got up here. We get up here by means of a borrow stone. Link. However, there's no doors, there's no hatchways that we've ever found. So what they did to get up here is a complete unknown as of this point.
Unless they climbed in through the back window, using a ladder from the rooftop of the other building.
There's always that possibility. That's what the superstructure that the map calls Tokata 2, or Building 2, that he's talking about. And there's a small alley in between them, which is blocked off by a barrier out near the Tokata Alley. Anyway, let's go ahead and talk about the Tokata area in general real quick. Tokata was the name given to the part of Ae'gura Island that was east of the palace by the DRC. What the Dani might have called it is unknown. Tokata is a Dani word that described what the DRC initially found when they explored this island, and means the place of locked doors. Variations of that name can be found in various publications and maps. Some were coined as a joke, and some came about because the person who wrote the document misunderstood what another person was saying. For example, on some maps, the name is Dakota, which was a deliberate joke. On other documents, it was spelled Dakothah, which was probably a mistake because of a misunderstanding. Tokata is a building complex that stretches most of the way up the northeast side of Ae'gura Island and is bordered by the ferry terminal to the north and the museum to the south. There are two main buildings, and they were most likely were the site of administrative offices and perhaps some shops in Dani time. Even today, the Tokata 2 complex would make a fair-sized shopping mall by Earth's surface standards. The only areas of Tokata explorers are able to access, though, are the Tokata 2 Superstructure 1 rooftop, the Kahlo pub, and Sharper Spy Room and the alley.
Uh-oh.
Okay. What was that? Okay, anyway. Mirfak, if you can take us down to... Oh, so is that map available anywhere? Haven't seen it before. I forget exactly where I got this from. It might have been the old Fan Guild of Cartographers.
I have a couple questions if I could.
Okay.
Why is there no physical access to this rooftop? And on the map, what do CR and KP mean, and SR?
Well, SR is Spy Room.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The CR is Conference Room, which is where the DRC were discussing Teledon. We'll be visiting that later.
Okay. Gotcha, because the spy room's across from the conference
Yeah.
room.
And then
Gotcha.
KP is Kahlo Pub.
Oh, cool.
So these
where,
are yeah.
Okay, so we're on the Dakota 2 rooftop. Can you hover your mouse over where we are physically so I can orient myself? Or see, we're overlooking
if you can see my mouse, it's here.
I do not see your mouse hovering in your Twitch stream.
Matthew?
Yeah, neither do I. So yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I mean, why wouldn't there be any physical access up here? I mean, they had to bring a lot of heavy stuff up here.
I just talked about that a moment, and the thing is that we never have found it, so we have no idea.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Anyway,
and Susan, we're standing about to the right of where the number 1 is on the map.
Yeah.
Oh.
And actually, the Kahlo Pub, although it's shown in Area 4, is actually almost straight down from us right now.
Okay.
Because it actually borders the alley. I know that because I've used fly mode to wander around and figure out the relationship. Okay, anyway. Speaking of the alley, let's go ahead and talk about that for a moment.
And what we're hearing right now is the music from the spy room, which we'll visit later.
Yeah. Okay. There we go. Okay. Now this is an early map that was made for Ae'gura Island, and a lot of the buildings and their relationships were changed when they made the game. But if you look up at the top part of the map, you'll see a little area of buildings there that seems to be attached by a bridge to the main island. And that is Tokata Alley. And it's because of these maps that we believe that the alley was originally supposed to be a road to a small residential or shopping district, as a large section of the Tokata area shown on DRC maps, artist concept paintings, and three-dimensional models is completely missing. The alley would have provided access to the district. And then let's see, where is the picture? Here we go. Okay. This artist concept drawing that I have up now shows what the DRC thinks it might have looked like to be standing in the alley near the time of the fall of Denis. Were this a picture, it would have been taken from the bottom of the stairs to Tokata Courtyard. We know it's from late in their history because of the presence of the Tokata Alley Nexus terminal, since the Nexus system was not installed until just before the fall of Denis. Okay. Something I'd like to show you next is going to be on the main island. Matter of fact, can you warp us down to the ferry terminal, please? This isn't quite there, but this would do. Okay, let's see. Okay. Let's see. Stairs. What am I looking? Okay. That way. So I'm going to run down to the area I want to be in. And then you can, once I'm there, I'll let you know. You can all just use Find Larry to get to me.
And in the meantime, here's another map of the city that I'm sure most of you, if not all of you, have noticed. But it looks like the other thing that Larry posted was derived from this map, although it has different numbers on it.
Mm-hmm. Actually, that's the official map. The one that I showed you is well, I should say that's the current map and the and official one that shows Tokata Courtyard and the relationship of the buildings. Okay. This is a little dark for me. Okay, how far enough down? Should be.
Looks like sunrise in the cavern.
Okay. So if you PM the bot, find Larry. If you aren't already with me, you'll get here quickly.
I know I had to.
What I want you to do is to look up in the same direction that I am.
You might have to go in first person view.
Yeah. What I want you to do is to look upward. What we're looking at here is you can see a very sharp delineation between the reddish natural rock of the island and the Denis construction, which is a lighter color. And what I'd like to point out here is that the Denis built more underground than they did above ground because they had a premium for space and always went into or down either horizontally, vertically, or downward into the rock for most of their living space. So this shows you this that Tokata 2, although it looks like the building is mostly above ground isn't. The vast majority of it is underground and goes down at least as far as the surface of the ferry docks here. So whatever is in that building, we can we're only seeing about maybe the top 1/5 of it. Okay, Mirfak, please warp us back up to the Tokata courtyard. Thank you. Okay. Are you able to remove the tent?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, so this building that I'm looking at now is Tokata 1. And this building is bordered by the museum and Tokata Alley. A large DRC tent was normally set in front of its main entrance because explorers were not allowed inside. So they had the tent there as a point of contact. The most notable feature of the building, of course, is the distinctive light sculpture on its roof. What that is to help provide illumination for the area around the building, and consists of 4 reflectors which lights shine up from inside the building and bounce off of. Tokata 1 is structurally sound, and the DRC messages from 2002 indicate that it passed phase 5, which is the final level of safety inspections before the public would be permitted access to an area. After it passed phase 5 in April of 2002, the DRC moved their offices from Corel, and this served as their headquarters until they ran out of funding and withdrew from the cavern. To this day, there are still things inside that they don't want explorers to see.
Larry, I think you're going in and out. I don't know if...
Is anyone else having problems with my
I can
audio?
hear him okay.
Yeah, okay.
I hear you okay.
Yeah. In any case, the building still contains sensitive documents and linking books for unreleased ages, which may explain why this building has never been open to the public. What you're looking at here is the main entrance to the building, but it's not the only entrance. There's at least one, possibly a door down underground that goes to the Kahlo pub. The DRC sometimes put signposts and other items in front of it and held meetings from a makeshift stage near the map board that is outside of it. Now, if we walk over to the alleyway.
I mean, I have a quick question.
Mm-hmm.
Are those fire marbles in these lights here?
All of the lights in the Denis Cavern are fire marbles.
Okay.
Richard Watson. At one point I put I made a number of light bulb jokes about Denis, and Richard Watson contributed a few. One of his light bulb jokes was, "How many Denis does it take to change a light bulb?" The answer is none, because the Denis didn't use light bulbs.
Oh no, that's bad.
Of course, I did. Of course, one of my jokes was, how would Rinaref have changed the light bulb, or fire? I should say I changed it to fire marble lamp. So, how would Rinaref have changed a fire marble lamp? And the answer is he wouldn't have. Instead, he'd have told his people that the lamp was doomed and led them to a new one.
Oh dear.
Another Richard Watson joke that I liked a lot along this line was, the first thing you have to know is that the Denis secret police that existed for a time were called Reliema, which means the unseen. And Watson's joke about them was, how many Reliema does it take to change a fire marble lamp? And the answer was, I don't know. I've never seen them do it.
Oh no.
Okay. Anyway, as you're looking up the side of the building,
He'll be here all week, folks.
And don't forget to tip your wait staff.
Right. In any case, as we're looking up at the side of the building from where I'm standing, which is the northern face, you will notice that there is an upper level which is lit. That is where the conference room is, where the DRC were discussing Teledon, and that's the room that Douglas Sharper was spying on in his spy room. We will actually be going to visit that soon enough. Something though that I wanted to note about this is that Douglas Sharper was a contractor rather than a formal member of the DRC, and he was excluded from their decision-making processes. That's one of the reasons for the rift that grew between him and the rest of the organization, along with
I think your voice cut out, Larry.
Okay. I said that Douglas Sharper was a contractor rather than a formal member of the DRC, and he was excluded from their decision-making processes. That was one of the causes of the rift that grew between him and the organization, to go along with his opinions about which areas explorers should be permitted to access.
I'm not hearing Larry. Is anybody else hearing Larry?
No.
Okay, that doesn't.
Zeke
I'm talking.
PM'd me about the internet, but not
I'm
Larry.
talking right. Yeah, I'm talking right
Yeah,
now.
I thought it was just me.
Okay. They're hearing me over the broadcast.
A tour wouldn't be a tour without some sort of technical difficulty or two.
Okay, I think what's going on here is that
if anyone has any questions, go ahead and type them in chat.
I'm going to go ahead and tell them. Oops.
Maybe it's an issue with Skype on his end.
I cannot hear him through Twitch either.
No, I just heard him typing. Oh,
Yeah, the cat. You can hear me through
there you are.
Twitch. Okay, never mind.
His mouth is moving.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there.
Larry.
Yeah, I can hear you through Twitch, but not through Skype.
Yeah, that's what's going on.
Oh, now I can hear him in Twitch.
Yeah. Okay, anyway. One thing I wanted to mention again, getting back to the light sculpture, is that they are aesthetic in while they are aesthetic in nature, they were actually a functional item. They were intended to help contribute to ambient light. Even though the lake algae was a major source of light for the Denis Cavern, they used a large number of additional lamps to supplement it. I've said this in other tours, but when Renneref wrote the Book of Earth, he designed the algae here to provide a strong orange light to simulate daylight and then dim to a low light level to simulate nighttime. He set it up to match the 30-hour day and night cycle of Gardner. Toward the end of Denis life in the cavern, of course, the algae was no longer giving off as bright a glow or cycling the way it was supposed to. That was why Guildmaster Kadish, formerly of the Guild of Writers, brought property in an age called Arcana to grow grain intended to feed the algae and, he hoped, restore it to full health. To that end, he created a processing center in Arcana in which the grinding, mixing, and baking of food pellets could be precisely controlled. He also set up a testing silo in the Ashaman district of the city to scan, monitor, and directly test the food pellets with a sample of the lake algae. Those experiments, of course, were ended by the fall of Denis, which directly led to Kadish's death and the caverns being abandoned by the survivors. Okay. Can we...
Larry's muted in Skype. That's the problem.
Okay. Let me see. I am? How the hell would that have happened? Hang on just a second.
But we could hear you in Twitch.
Yeah, I just wondering what's going on here. So let's see.
It is weird hearing your.
Here we go.
It is weird hearing your voice delay, Susan.
Yes, likewise. Yeah, blame the cat, Scott. Blame the cat.
Yeah, I always do it myself, so.
Now you should be able to hear me in Skype.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
There you are. Now you're in Skype.
I don't know how. I do not understand how that got muted. Okay. Anyway, typical of a cavern tour. Now, Murfak, I was asking, can you take us to the spy room now?
Yes, yes, yes.
Oda was asking if if the lake was restored, and no appreciable progress has ever been made on that. Instead, we are. It's still technically an ongoing project. we have a scaffold set up now in which you can climb up and see both the conference room and the Sharper spy room in Tokata 2.
Perfect. This is amazing.
And you can just walk it through the wall into the conference room here. I'm up there, so if you want to use Find Larry to get here, you can.
And even though there's like a black curtain separating something, you could just walk through the black curtain right here.
Yeah. Actually, I don't know what that is because it shouldn't be there. This entire room is technically open. In fact, you don't see it from the back side of the room.
Interesting.
In any case, this is the I am currently in the Togata 1 conference room that Sharper was spying on. There are a large number of what may be unreleased linking books being stored in this room, and many copies of Teledon linking books that are lying open in several places. The furnishings of the room are not very elaborate. As you can see, they mostly consist of folding tables and chairs, and an artist's easel holding a map. You can also see another copy of the island map that's on display in the Tokata courtyard. That's correct. The Baba Boopa code was in this room. In fact, it still should be here. No, I take that back.
It would only be in the PC version of the game. Or the single version.
In any case, the chart that you see on the wall over here is one of the charts from Teledon that Douglas Sharper found. And of course, right over here is the doorway into the rest of the building, so we don't have any mysteries about how the DRC got in here. Scott Miller is saying he doesn't remember ever being here before. You would have to have been on a tour in order to walk in this room. This room actually technically is not solid, and you would just fall through the floor, except for the technical wizardry from Mirfak. He set up Jalak pillars to give us floor in here.
And this is the door you were talking about?
Well, I'm outside the room right now, but if you look in the back corner next to the chart from Teledon, and it's in between the chart and the map. So the door is right in front of you right now. Yep. And then let's see if I can get over there. Yeah. Okay. And now, whoops. Oh, that's really strange. Oh, here we go. Okay. And I am now standing in what should be the spy room. Although we don't have the We don't have walls or anything like that, but you can see all the stuff that's in the spy room, including the telescope.
Went outside and crossed the bridge over to the spy room, which is in the Tokata 2 building.
That is correct. Let's see. Where are my notes? Notes.
Right, I'm standing on the edge, but I'm standing opposite the telescope. So as you're approaching, you can see where I am. You'll see the telescope. Or if you're behind the telescope, it disappears. So you'll know approximately where the telescope is.
So if we look through the telescope right now, we can see people, tourists, walking in the conference room, right?
I don't know. I hadn't tried it. Give it a shot and see. Tell me, because we've got people over there, I believe. Shiloh O'Brien.
Yes,
I was just
I can.
about to, yeah.
I can see
I
a guy
was
with
just
the.
about
I can see
to.
Deathclaw.
Okay, here we go. Sharper's Spy Room is a room in Tokata 2 Superstructure 1 underneath the Tokata rooftop. It was originally the end of a corridor before a section of it collapsed. That cut it off from the rest of the building. It's not known how Sharper got a biro stone that links to it, or how he installed a telescope here if he did. I suspect that they were gifts from a certain desert bird, although Sharper never met her personally and believed that she was dead. Sharper used the place to spy on meetings of the DRC while they were discussing his restoration of Teledon. And I'm going to put up, I hope, let's see. And photo, pictures. Yes. Excuse me. Let's see. I'm currently looking for a photograph that I want to show. Oh, here we go. It's got to be in here. Okay, if you look at the stream window, I have a picture that shows exactly the exact layout between the spy room and Tokata 1, so that you can see how it's actually laid out. This is how the spy room looked originally. It was much larger than the version that we have right now. And you will notice that there's a crack in the wall that would have looked into the rest of the corridor that this room was cut off from. As usual, that crack looks an awful lot like the Starfisher, which seems to be a bit of a theme with Isha. And this is what that room looked, how much space was in the room before the current version of it.
And this is available in Uro Complete Chronicles, correct?
That is correct. Okay, now let's get that out of the way. Go back here. It is the fact that the crack in the end wall looked like a bit like the star fissure that makes me think that Yisha set the whole thing up for Sharper. Okay. Susan, I just mentioned that Sharper used the spy room, but he probably didn't create it. Like I said, I assume that Yisha set this up for him. Looking at Shiloh's comment. So the anti-Yisha faction's motto should be "Say no to crack." Okay, let's see. At this point, oops, blocked in. Okay. And at this point, Mirfak, I think we're ready to go to the staircase on Tokita 2, if you have that set up.
Want to go.
In the real version of the spy room, this linking book would work.
Yep.
If I could walk around the telescope, okay. Periscope.
That was the that linking. There were actually originally 2 linking books here. One, I believe, went back was for Sharper to get out, and the second was Phil's Relto, which Sharper had stolen and kept in this room to get to hide it.
What's always bothered me about the music for the spy room is that you can hear Shroomy in the background.
Yeah, she's got kind of a piercing voice.
Even though we're in Ae'gura.
And if you think of voices piercing, wait till you hear her claws.
Okay. Whoops. Guess what I just did?
Yoo-hoo.
I'm going to have to link back to you because I just walked off the edge. Okay. There we go. There's the group. Okay. What you're standing on is a stairway system that leads from the depths of Ae'gura Island all the way up to the rooftop of structure, or I should say, all the way up to the top floor of structure 1. Let's see. So right now we're in a small courtyard, which is more or less above the stairway that goes, or the passage that goes down to the Kala pub. If we walk over here, Oh, it's not letting us. Let me see if I go W. Okay. You should be able to use. Oh, wait a minute. No, he's here. Murphac, we're unable to get to the. Oh, never mind. Somebody got over. Yeah. There we go. Now we can get up there. Okay, just follow the blocks. And you can go right through this wall over here. And you'll find a set of staircase that you can walk up because we've also laid blocks under it. And when you get to the top, you'll find yourself on a landing that has a set of doors on it. And from up here, you can actually get a fairly nice look down at the rest of the entirety of the Tokita 2. One of the funny things about this staircase, which I discovered many years ago, is that it is completely invisible from any place that you could normally go on the island. Anyway, let's get back to the actual tour. Tokita 2 is a building complex bordering Tokita Courtyard at the east side of the Great Square. It is the site of the Tokita Rooftop, Sharper Spy Room, and the Kalo Pub. I mentioned earlier when we were down on the dock that despite appearances, Tokita 2 is actually one very large building that divides into 5 main superstructures above a certain level. That's why it's marked as one building on the map of the Tokita Courtyard. The superstructures are numbered from 1 to 5 clockwise from the southeastern corner on Tokita Courtyard down to the Great Stair second landing. There is an opening into Structure 5's main entrance, Structure 5's main entrance opens onto that landing behind the DRC tent that's down there. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and bring up some pictures in the Okay, let's see. This is the corridor to the Kalo Pub. One of the reasons why I'm showing you this picture is that when you look at it, you will notice that there are actually 4 sets of doors here. The ones at the back, the one on the right leads to Kalo Pub, which is under superstructure number 1. Across from that is a closed door, which probably leads into the center building. And then there's another, closer to the entrance, there is another door to the right, which also would lead toward structure 1. And then on the left, I suspect that this door would open onto the bottom of the staircase we climbed to get up to where we are now. These, what I have in the pictures, the picture that I have up right now, shows a couple of anomalies up on the top of structure 3, which is the center of the building. So you'll notice that there's a building that looks like it's almost hanging in midair, although it's actually anchored on the little U-shaped wall that you see there and the one behind it.
That is an odd design.
Mm-hmm. They've got some really strange things up here. Okay, what we're looking at now is structure 5, and it is the tower that's right above the ferry terminal. You'll notice that there are doors and walkways up here, which are quite, and the walkways are quite narrow, and also have no guardrails at all, which prompted Dr. Watson to remark to me once, "You see, that's why we never we have all the traffic cones, and why we never let OSHA down here." For those of you not from the U.S., OSHA is Occupational and Safety and Health Administration, and it's the U.S. government department which is responsible for worker safety. By the way, that this is one of the things that once caused me to remark that I have always had this sneaking suspicion that the Denis had birds in their ancestry. Let's see, token 2, structure 5. Okay, this is looking at structure 5 from midair outside above the ferry terminal, I think. You will notice off to the left there that there's a small courtyard with a number of collapsed arches on it. You're looking into a V-shaped notch, and the flat surface that you see above the wall there is structure 3, which is the center of the building.
So the deck on the right with the collapsed pillars is where we were ported to originally.
No, that's a different one. That's further back. Or I take that back. No, I take that back. You are correct. I'm sorry. That is where we came in here originally.
And to the right of that are the great stairs leading, through the zero meridian line.
Correct.
Right.
Then right smack, almost dead smack in the center there, you'll see a wall leading up to a flat surface, which is structure 3, and that's the one that we crossed through in order to get to the stairs when we climbed up.
Yeah, and the stairs are just, where are the stairs?
Yeah, you can actually see
they're sort of around just to the left, around there-ish.
basically just to the left of the top of the great stairs. I think you can see the staircase that we climbed. Okay. This is what Tokata Alley looks like when you get past the barrier. It just curls around the building and then goes and ends in a dead end. Let's see. Okay. Here's a view of structure 1 from Tokata Courtyard. By the way, if you look at the end of Tokata structure 1, you'll see the little barricade that blocks off the alley. And then just on the other side of that, there's a much shorter building that has a gap and then a wall that's set on 4 posts just above it for cosmetic reasons. That is structure 2. And earlier, Arte had mentioned that he thought that maybe the DRC had propped a ladder up on the top of building 2 to get up to a notch in the rear of building 1 to get to the rooftop.
Oh yeah, because there is a notch up there.
Yes.
Hmm.
So if you were to go look at the Tokata rooftop and go to the notch that's at the opposite end from the telescope, you'd be looking down at the top of structure 2. Let's see. That's the doorway at the top of the stairs where we are now. This is looking down from the stairway at the rest of Tokata 2. By the way, in this picture, you can see that there's a landing on the stairs, and there's actually a doorway out on, or a little gateway cut into the retaining wall to let people out on it. You will notice that it used to be H-shaped, but the end of it broke off. Okay, this is out from that landing, and you can see right in the middle of it is the little notch in the side wall that lets you out onto it. So
that's a good photo. I like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And what caused that to break off? Would it be falling debris from the cave, or would it be an earthquake, or?
Your guess is as good as anyone's, but because on the courtyard down below that we came in on, there isn't any remains of a stalactite or anything like that, so it's probably earthquake damage.
You got to remember that at the time of the fall, when the pardon me, when Viovis blew open that crack in the wall to let the poison gas in, it ended up causing a earthquake, and that earthquake is what probably caused the damage in the veranda here.
Now, this picture is from the top of structure 2, looking at the notch on structure 1. So this is more or less the area that Arte was saying they might have been able to put a ladder up. However, there isn't one, so...
That notch is awfully narrow.
They probably took the ladder with them when they moved over to Dakota 1.
Well, actually, they were operating the linguistic team on that roof and in the Great Library more or less at the same time that they were doing they were in Tokata 1 as their main headquarters. Okay. Let's see what else we got here. Okay, this is hanging in midair above the harbor. You can see in the upper left corner is Tokata 1, and then there's the alley right next to it. And then you can see the top of this kind of slot, that kind of slot looking thing. That is, oh, you can see my mouse cursor. Okay, so this is the top of Tokata 2, the superstructure 2, where I just was. And this is superstructure 3, which has these vertical bands on it. And then over around here, this area is where structure 5 is, with structure 3 in between them. Here's a doorway into structure 2 off of Tokata Alley. And this is the little courtyard that we came in on, and with another view of the top of structure 3 in between all of the taller buildings.
With that odd building perched precariously on the corner.
Yeah,
of a...
like I said, it's held up by the two walls, one underneath it and one at the corner. But why they built it that way, I haven't the faintest. It's one of the most bizarre things. And it's also...
You could not...
Go ahead.
I say there's not enough money for me to go inside that precariously perched building.
Well, since there doesn't seem to be
chocolate.
a practical way to get into it, you're probably safe. This is a view on the narrow walkway near the top of structure 5, looking at the doorway out to it. Okay. I'm standing on the structure 3 roof, looking toward the Tokata, structure 1 and the staircase that we came up. So you can see the little courtyard right there on the right-hand side. The arches up here are all actually quite unusual. This is the only place in Dini that I've ever seen them. Okay. This is the main entrance into structure 5, which is off of the landing and behind the DRC tent down near the bottom of the Great Stairs.
Did they mine all the building materials from inside the cavern? Like there's some light gray materials, there's some reddish materials.
All the, well, first off, the more reddish ones are the natural stone. All of the buildings, however, are made out of an artificial stone called Nara. And the Dini manufactured that from the spoil whenever they were digging. Arte, was that a fusion process that they used for that?
They called it a fusion compounding process. And it was initially invented during the time of King Dimeth, which was the first king, or Dimeth? Yeah. Oh, shit, I can't remember what king he was, but it's, yeah, he's, pardon me, but he opened up Dimeth opened up the guilds to take the gifted children from the public school system. And it was one of those children that was brought into the guilds, basically on a scholarship basis, that came up with the fusion compounding process.
And that's a funny story in and of itself, because at the time that Nara was invented, which was considered one of the most important occurrences in Dene history, the Guild of Miners was a lesser guild, a minor guild, and thus ordinary Dene people could join it. But after Nara was invented, the Guild of Miners was elevated to become a major guild, and they took over from the Guild of Arts, which is broken up into a number of minor guilds, such as the Guild of Painters, the Guild of Actors, etc., etc. And once it was elevated to major status, ordinary people could not join it. You had to be nominated after being born into the family of a major guild member. So, the story of Nara would never have happened if the Guild of Miners had been a major guild to begin with, because the guy who invented the stuff would not have been eligible.
Not to be contrary, but I'm not sure about that, Larry, because there was a big point in the book of Dimeth that it was one of the scholarship kids that invented the Nara.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though, is that
But I don't remember if it was from the Guild of Miners that it was developed, that the kid was in who developed it. I think it was in one of the major guilds.
No, he was the thing was is that it was the Guild of Miners that was elevated to major status after the invention of Nara. It was that development that basically brought the king and the council and his counselors or advisors to nominate them for it. Anyway, let's see. So here's a look at Tokuda 2 from the second landing. The entrance I just showed you is behind the DRC tent there. And we're looking all the way up towards Tokuda 2, which is where we're standing, or Superstructure 1, I should say, where we're standing now. And you can see the broken landing right above that square building here. Okay. And let's see what else we got here. Another view of the north face of Superstructure 1. Let's see. And this is from the third landing, with looking at Superstructure 1. By the way, you'll notice that there actually is a room that is broken open at one corner up here. And at least in the Deep City, City of Dimensions, you can actually climb up into that room, and it has a solid floor there.
If I could step in real quick, It was the Guild of Stonemasons that developed Nara. It was a major guild.
Okay. In that case, how on earth would a scholarship student have gotten into it? because they were
DMF,
closed.
Okay, so Nara was discovered in 4826. I think it was let's see, year 4721. DMF pushed an amendment that forced major guilds to accept a percentage of students who passed all entrance exams but could not afford the steep prices.
Okay.
And it was the first such action in the history of Denis, and one that many seem to question, especially the guilds themselves. However, Dimath was able to convince them that it was a necessity for the society.
In that case,
And
you had the education reform that allowed ordinary Denis to join minor guilds, including women. What happened? Weren't get major guilds excluded from that?
Excluded from?
Accepting normal people and women.
That guild education, from what I recall, had always been around. It's just that it had a very steep tuition. So only the very wealthy could afford to go there. And King Marinat, who was sixth king, had his big shtick was public education. Said that, we're raising a generation of fools and idiots, basically. And he strengthened the public education system, making it, extending it from like 6 years to like 18 years or something like that, and increased the work day of the teachers, etc., and the school day, the length of the school day.
For which generations of students no doubt cursed him.
No doubt.
Okay. This is a shot of Tokita 2 from the ferry, the roof of the ferry terminal. The staircase that we climbed. Again from the landing. Okay, anyway. So let's go ahead.
Pochu
Now,
had a question. Did you answer that?
No. What was it? Oh, here we go.
Oh, do you see it?
You could be a member of a major guild whilst at the same time being too poor to allow your kid to become a member. I don't see any reason why that couldn't have happened.
If you had a series of bad investments, maybe, and wiped out the family fortune, but you were already a member of a guild, so they're not going to kick you out because you lost your fortune.
Yep.
But then you can't afford to bring your kid in too.
Yeah. What happened, though, is that with major guilds, children were not put through the public education system. They would be nominated for one or another of the major guilds, and at the age of, I believe it was 6, they would be incorporated into the guild education system.
According to Book of Tiana, it was age 4. That's
Age
when
4.
Gen was first brought into the Guild of Books.
Okay. But the thing is that for the most part, in order to be a member of a major guild, you had to be a child of a member of a major guild. the thing was is that you weren't locked into the same guild that your parent was in. And that probably is where that thing where the guilds had to accept a certain number of poor students came in. Oops, where are we now? Too dark, I can't see. Okay. Anyway, now I was going to say that. Oh, do we have any idea how the nomination was done? I mean, 4 is pretty early to decide on a kid's aptitude. A lot of it would have simply been
By virtue of their economic station.
that, and I would assume that there would be some consideration taking for what the child it might have said. Oh, making books is neat. But in Gin's case, for instance, we know that he was in the Guild of Books because they were the only ones who would take him as a half-breed. As for transferring guilds, I don't think that's ever been brought up before, and it's not mentioned in any of the notebooks. Okay. Now, where are we now? Oh, I think I know. This is I was showing you that narrow walkway and door at the beginning of, or at the top of Structure 5. That's where Murphy has taken us. I had told him that if he thought he could show us any more of the building up close and personal, then we could see from the staircase to surprise me, and that's exactly what he's done.
Thank you, Murphac.
You're welcome.
So if you want to take some key pictures, this is a place that you're probably, or a view that you're probably never going to get again outside of the cavern tours. It is 1:31. I don't think I can do the religion lecture in this amount of time. If I recall, that takes up at least an hour. So
I'm sorry.
the
How
last
did you
thing-
describe this area?
This is
Tokata 1?
Tokata 2,
2.
and then this is superstructure number 5. Here, let me bring up the map of
Okay.
that, and you can see that. So I think it's here we go. Let's see. I'll go to here. Okay, if you look at the stream window, we are just to the left of the number 5 on that map.
Cool. And your fee for today's tour will be?
Sorry, there's no fee. Today's tour was brought to you by the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
And your assignment for the day is a 500-page essay on the significance of the Guild of Stonemasons.
Written
Speaking
in
out,
the Dunny
yeah.
language.
Speaking out of character, one thing that Richard told us about this, there isn't very much information at all about the two Tokata buildings, which is why I more or less default to just showing you all the unusual features of it. And Richard told us that the reason for that is that Cyan was deliberately vague about places so that if they ever decided they wanted to do something with them, they wouldn't have to worry about contradicting something they'd said before. So what we see is what we have to work with. In any case, I'm going to go, since we've covered both of the Tokata buildings, and unless there's any more questions that I missed, I'm going to go ahead and end the tour here today. I had another lecture that I could have filled in with, but it's too long for the time we have remaining. Exactly, Potter.
And speaking out of character, there was already a number of retcons because of the way the gameplay was constructed in Myst and Riven with prison books or trap books.
Yeah. But that was between games, and their eventual decision was to say that the games worked differently because they really were games, and and that was done for gameplay reasons, rather than being accurate.
As I heard it, to quote, facilitate gameplay, close quote.
Correct. Yeah. So the idea was that they had actually brought the Miller brothers down here and introduced them to the Denis Cavern and to Catherine's journals, which is what they based the game on. Let's see.
Does anyone have any last minute Stump Larry or Stump Arte questions? Because between the two of them, they know everything. And each one actually knows everything, but they disagree about what some things are.
Well, there's some memory issues that, of course, because we're not seeing everything in front of our face all the time.
Yeah.
And plus, we also have different areas of expertise as well.
Yeah. He's much more knowledgeable about the Denis notebooks or the King's notebooks than I'll ever be.
So Zeke is sorry he can't be here. He's having when he's in the game he keeps crashing. So he sends his regards. Arte, would you please promote your story night and your Dunny language course?
Hold on for just a second before we go into the last things.
Okay.
Let's see. I had mentioned. I'm looking for my Denis fire marble jokes.
Oh no!
So we can.
Sorry, folks, we have to go. Just kidding.
All right, it's been lovely. See you guys later. Bye.
Yeah, I gotta go. I got another thing to do. Yes, and don't forget to thank Murphak.
Mm-hmm.
Murphak, who operates Merabot,
Okay, here we go.
who's very quiet.
So here's the story. I came up with the Denis light bulb jokes a few years ago, and the one that I first did is going to be the first on the list. I made 6 of those jokes, and the 3 more were made by Dr. Watson. So, how many maintainers, Guildsman, does it take to change a fire marble lamp? Answer: 1. But he thoroughly examined the manual first and burned it if he found any mistakes in the way it was written. How many writers, Guildsman, does it take to change a fire marble lamp? Answer: none. It's against the guild laws for writers to change anything.
Oh. Okay.
How many legislators, Guildsman, does it take to change a fire marble lamp? 1. But he'll be too busy promising a brighter tomorrow to actually get around to it.
Ba-dum-bum.
Swish.
How would King Shomot change a fire marble lamp? Answer: he wouldn't. He promised vast rewards if someone else changed the fire marble and then murdered them after the job was done. His disgusted followers would then appoint a minder to make sure he changed his own damn lamps for the rest of his reign, and he'd become a rather decent fire marble lamp repairman. How would King Kurth change a fire marble lamp? Answer: he wouldn't. He quit halfway through the job and tell the people that the guilds could do a better task at it. And then Richard Watson, how many Faro does it take to change a fire marble lamp? Answer: none. They see perfectly fine in the dark. And finally, how does Gin change a fire marble lamp?
Oh no.
Answer: he threatens to feed someone to a wark if they don't change it.
There you go. A little dark, but it's funny.
That's Richard. Anyway.
Sort of like how many software engineers does it take to change a light bulb? None. It's a hardware problem.
Oh dear.
Yeah, the one fire marble lamp joke reminded me of that.
Okay.
How long does it take Larry to change a fire marble?
Actually, since the things don't actually exist, I wouldn't be able to.
He would blame the internet.
Any case, closing out today's tour.
He doesn't have the
if you
proper tools to open up the lamp, so none.
Okay. Closing out today's tour, by the way, in the stream window, I now have the list of other events going on.
Yes.
And Arte, that's your cue. Tell everybody about your 2 events.
All righty. Well, let's see. Story night at 1400 and 2300 or 2330. We're going to start talking about the events from the Game of Riven as we finished up Myst last week. And a little heads up, there will be no story night next weekend because of traveling for the U.S. July 4th weekend. And then the language lessons, I've got daytime and evening sessions available. Basically, it's from 10 a.m. key time to noon key time as far as starting times. The classes last between 30 minutes and a couple hours, depending upon what the lesson is. And then in the evenings, they start from either 20 key time as late as 22 key time. And bless you, whoever that was. And there's the times are open Monday through Friday. There's no classes on weekends. And I just, my latest victim, I mean, my latest student just graduated. So all the times are available.
Okay. And also remember that at 1600 key time, in the New Messengers pub, we have the regular karaoke show, which is the single longest running Cavern event in the game. And
And our next tour is Saturday, July 22nd, 11 key time.
okay.
And so Mirfak's going to leave us stranded all up here.
What can you say?
If you want to know what the bot's list of commands are, PM the word help to Mirabot, and he will email you a list of his commands. And if you want to try the to Dakota command, you might want to check that out and freak people out in the public Ae'gura Island because they won't know where you are.
Okay. And that's just about it, I think. So we'll go ahead and end the stream now, and I hope to see you all next